Death's Door. This game holds a special place on my heart. Why? Well, maybe after this video the answer will be clear. The game captivated me with its art, gameplay, music, and, above all, the message of death. We begin our adventure with a white screen. A boss appears, and after a few seconds our main character is revealed. A crow. He is here for work. Back then I was very excited for the game, but little did I know, this small intro was going to turn into what was going to help me through my grieving process. Let's take a step back. To understand why this game means so much to me, we need to travel back to November or perhaps December 2022. I know I could go check the exact date when it happened, but doing so would be too painful. So we'll just leave it like that. The beginning of my day was like any other, so much so I don't remember anything earlier than the message. I vividly remember the moment things started going downhill. I was at the gym when I received a message from my mom, or perhaps my dad. Oye, Uki no está bien. Something along those lines. I messaged them back. No answer. I knew something was wrong, so I wrapped up my exercise earlier and I went home. I waited for what felt like an eternity, and then I finally got through. A call from my mom. She had been crying. I could tell. I didn't need to see her face to know. I just knew. She told me then. Uki estaba muy débil, ya no pudo. ¿Cómo? I asked. O sea, ya no está? I couldn't say the words death. That would have made it a reality. I could only ask if she was not here anymore. No, gordo, perdóname. And just like a bad coin flip, my day had taken a 180 turn, and my grandma had passed away. Back then, I was on BFS game design course. Vancouver Film School has 1 year intensive studies, so finding free time for myself and to play video games was no easy task. I was on my final project prep, but my team was understanding about my struggles, and they let me find some time for myself. So I got Death's Door. I excitedly started playing, and I quickly fell in love with the game. The game had simple yet challenging combat that pushed me to improve when part of me wanted to give up. It had beautiful music that made me want to dance when I wanted to lay on my bed the most. The puzzles made me think when I wanted to shut down and stop thinking. Instead of just falling into depression, the game gave me something to look forward to. Having a game with a title containing the word death should have made it obvious to me that the game was going to contain a lot of connections to the concept, but I had never imagined how much those connections would connect to me. It was almost like the game was talking directly to me, concepts such as death being a necessity and to enjoy the little things of life. Concepts such as all the villains receiving their own funeral and receiving words by the gravedigger. The game knows death is not an easy concept, but yet it handles it with care. For example, the villains act the way they do for having lived for too long. They have stopped caring about the small things and have been driven to insanity. Those small details were almost designed just for me, bite-sized messages that were crafted so I wouldn't choke with them. I want to quickly leave a track of the game playing. This was a moment on the game where I completely stood still. I didn't have to play. I just stopped moving my character, I leaned back on my chair, and I just enjoyed the music. This song, as well as all the others you have been listening, and matter of fact, you've been watching all video, are all from Death's Door. The combination of all the elements of the game came together beautifully and made my grieving process, well, beautiful. Earlier I mentioned how the concept of death is handled on the game. There's no better example than the last two bosses. The evil character or big baddie from the game is simply scared of dying. That's why everything's happening. No world domination, no evil plans, just a being that is scared of death. What better villain than having something so simple yet so profound? There is no real need for more explanation, there's no need for a backstory. We just need to have lost someone to understand it. Fear is strong, and the game shows us what's wrong can happen if we let ourselves be controlled by it, even if we do have the right to fear. The other boss I'm referring to is the Great Crow, a crow that has lived for too long. He lived all of his years attempting to finish his assignment and find the soul that was assigned to him, so he could go back to being immortal. Since he's past his expiration date, as Dead jokes it, he loses it, and with the fear of dying being so big, he goes crazy. This character is not evil. He's also not good since he attacks the player at the beginning of the game to get what he wants. He's just neutral, so his transformation doesn't come up as majestic or evil, it's just sad. And what better way to match the sadness but with this? A beautiful, melancholy piano plays as you have to sadly defeat your own kin. Not out of anger, malice, vengeance, but love. And the song mixes those feelings perfectly. No one wants to die, we're scared of it, but it is okay. In some sort of way, it's almost as beautiful as life. There's no life if there's no death. The Great Crow for me had shown me how much we could lose if we spent all life trying to beat it, instead of just smiling and choosing love. This concept is especially nailed home with some crows that have decided to leave immortality behind to just live a simple life, a life of peace. I had experienced grief before. Even as a kid, I had lost a younger brother that sadly I do not have any memories of. Emiliano is his name. My older brother remembers him a lot more than me, so I will leave that video essay for him. Why then? Why was my grandma's passing so tough on me? I think another video game can explain it. This is a quote from God of War Ragnarok. The culmination of love is grief, and yet we love despite the inevitable. We open our hearts to it. I think at first the quote might seem a bit nihilistic, and I think for a part it is, but I think the ending is what makes it such a beautiful quote for me. We open our hearts to it? Yes. Yes, we do. We know eventually this all leads to loss, but we all accept it because we love, and there's nothing more beautiful than love. That's why this death had done so much for me. I loved my grandma, my goddess, as I would jokingly call her, my Uki, as my brother called her when he wanted cookies when he was a kid. Yes, cookie, Uki, cookie, I don't know. Mayuki had apparently told my mom multiple times, "He fixed my view of men. I hated them, but now I see the good in them too." As a feminist, me, hearing that fills my heart. She would always have her fridge filled with the best glass cokes for me, which tastes way better in Mexico. She would always have vegetarian chorizo when I came over. I miss her, and I was so sad because I loved her. Te extraño, Uki, y te amo. Gracias por todo. But what does a game have to do with my love for my grandma? I hold Dead's Door so close to my heart because it was there when I needed it. I make this video for Mayuki, but also for people to realize the potential of games. Games aren't only a piece of distraction, they aren't just a thing that makes children aggressive, which have been proven wrong again and again, but I digress. They hold amazing messages, and there are games that can speak to person's heart like Death's Door spoke in my heart. Death's Door didn't heal my grieving process or made me love my grandma more, but it just spoke to me, and that's all that matters. If I had played the game before, I would still have loved it, and if I had played it way after, I would have liked it. I hope this helps people see that video games hold important lessons and are beautiful as well. And well, I could go on and on about how much I like the game. How Dev is just a little person doing a job that he doesn't quite like. How many times I lost on the boss battles with the epic music. And also how many times I got lost and didn't know where to go. But that would make this video an hour long, and I'll leave it there for now. So with that, thank you Uki, thank you Death's Door, and thank you for watching. Have a good day.